Okay, yeah. I'm going to Jedi this thing with you guys. In other words, I'm going to come straight from my heart and intuition and mind to answer your questions. I have not pre-read the questions. I saw there were some good ones posted. I haven't done any research. I haven't familiarized myself. Believe it or not, I fully believe that the answers I'll give you will be better that way. Alright. Here we go. Why do you consider gaming to be worth your time? 22 people thumbs up that. Wow, man. I almost feel like I'm being judged a little bit here, you know? Well, gaming. Why is gaming worth my time? I play a little bit of World of Warcraft. I recruit people for this channel while I'm playing sometimes. Not that I need to justify it like that. Because here's the thing. Who do I need to justify anything to? Nobody. Just myself. Of course, that's easier said than done in this world. Why do I consider gaming worth my time? Well, you know, sometimes when you put in a lot of physical work, you're going to end up doing something where you're just going to sit down for a while, but you're not sleeping. You know, you're chilling. You can be doing something. You know, I can be listening to binaurals and doing research and gaming, and probably 3 other things. That's just kind of the way I do stuff sometimes. So, I don't know, man. I'm not even sure where that question's coming from exactly, but it's not like I spend a lot of time gaming these days. Not that if I did, that would be something I would have to justify myself for, though. Nor should any of you, just so you have, okay. Just being real, like I said, shooting from the heart. Okay. What's an easy diet that I can use for gaining muscle and at the same time clean and open my pineal gland when flat ass broke? Wow. Wow. Riddle me this, man. What must I be thinking when I go into an epic Q&A like this with no research on your questions, right? Okay, what's an easy diet? You're flat ass broke. Well, my friend, to be honest, you need to tell me where you live and what kind of food options you have. What's your budget? Is it your parents' food? Are you on your own? I don't know any, I don't know. I can't narrow anything down on details for you, okay? So, questions like that, repost them in a specific way to, really give me something to work with, Alright, what things can we expect to see when we decalcify the pineal gland? Well, I could tell you stories and stuff, but really, an individual's own journey and perception of things is their own, and especially when it comes to stuff like that, it's going to be more a personal perception, experience, understanding, a variety of things for you. I mean, you can kind of read around on the internet and see, stories of the kinds of things that happen to some people, and most of that's got some truth in it, but here's the thing. Here's what I'm really getting at. I'm going to narrow it down to real words now instead of stuttering. I wouldn't want to narrow down the possibilities for you by telling you what to expect, because actually that would be crazy, okay? I can't tell you what to expect. It's better than that. It's more got to do with where you really are, mind, body, and spirit, okay? Getting to explore those parts of yourself in a different dimension, you could say, or however you like to look at things. If you it's like being in a different game or a different world or a different system or a different something, but it's very much a place where the information is rich, so much so that each time you come back you have a whole lot to think about and work on stretching it and expanding your mind and your heart to be willing to encompass the kind of You know, people run out of words on stuff like this. That's why you hear people throwing around the word energy a lot, because energy covers energy, you know, and it is energy. And I can't be a whole lot more specific than that, but energy and consciousness, and they're all one, and they're infinitely creative. So, you know, your personal experience is to be honored, and I wouldn't even step in the way by, being your guide and telling you what to expect, you know. That's just not my style, because I do unto others what I would have them do unto me. And being the unusual character I am, I guess, I give people a whole lot of freedom with stuff like that, because I need a lot of creative freedom, or, you know, if people try to take that from me, you know. So, do unto others, that's just how I'm doing this, guys. So I'm not going to tell you what to expect. You can read around, create all the far out stories, and yeah, but you need to experience stuff, and you need to experience your own experience, because there's no way for me to tell you what that's going to really be, and I wouldn't want to limit it with expectations, okay? Leave your mind open. The more open, the better. Okay. This is what I'm saying, guys. I want to take however much time it takes, really, with these questions, and this is how we're going to do it. We're going to have a Q&A thread for really questions to really reflect on, right? And however much time it takes, okay? Alright, here we go. Do you think you've reached your genetic max? Well, I did a video on that this last week or whatever, so I guess I've answered that one, but let me see here. And a balanced proportion of fast and slow muscle twitch fibers, 50-50. Well, I doubt I have that. I have quite a bit of both, but, you know, I wouldn't know which muscles. You know, some muscles on me are definitely more fast twitch natured, and some are more slow twitch natured. So, you know, if you were looking at my whole body to see how much was fast and slow, you're still going to find a lot more fast on me. But that doesn't mean I don't have endurance and stamina. I've taught myself those things. Those things were harder. They didn't come quite as natural as just being freakishly strong. That came very easy. But, you know, with training, adaptation, mutation for the better, you know, change your DNA a little bit. Check out the video if you haven't seen it yet, because, you know, I really get into, you know, how I feel about that whole subject and how it ties into a lot of things in life. The video is called Genetics versus Willpower, okay? Check it out. What do you think about Stoicism philosophy? Man, at times like this, I almost wish I was educated, as you say, meaning I had read all the books and knew all the names. I'm sure I'm familiar with the philosophy. I'm sure I've run into it somewhere and picked it up and kind of worked with it, but I don't know off the top of my head what Stoicism is. It has the word stoic in it, you know, but I don't want to guess a whole lot from there. So I'll just be honest. I'm going to be real with you. Alright? Do you have a picture of your progress over the years? I'm kind of looking around and trying, and we may find some yet, so I'm not going to say yes or no. We haven't found much to work with. The truth is, I was almost never like shirtless or anything in any of the pictures that got taken of me over the years, but you know, you can see size difference and stuff, but I'm sure I'll come up with at least a few things to give you some perspective, you know, like, you know, here's something from 8 years ago, and here's something from, you know, I don't know. We'll see what I come up with, you know, give you some kind of whatever. But remember, at the end of the day, it's not about me. This is an idea, this is an energy, this is just like a channel of wisdom and understanding and connection for everybody. And me personally doesn't matter a whole lot. It's just the ideas and the concepts and the energies and how anyone who's open to it can benefit from it. And humanity, you know, that way expands. That's really what matters. So, you know, that being said, that's why I love you all. So thanks for being here, and thanks for asking good questions. So yeah, we'll see about pictures. What's your option? What's your opinion on red pill culture? Yeah, when I saw this question, I realized I've been throwing around the term red pill, blue pill. I have my own definition of that, and I didn't even realize there was such a thing as red pill culture. Should have known by now. I mean, it's a pretty catchy idea, but I don't know the philosophy of it. Again, I don't. I'm the guy who completely learned to be the creator of a new philosophy if necessary, even day by day if you have to. So for me, I never like read some book that a bunch of people, whatever. And sometimes I say a bunch of stuff and then people say, oh, you sound just like so-and-so. And I hear some name in a book and again, it sounds familiar, but I haven't read it. And I'm like, okay, so I sound like somebody that, somebody else that apparently was saying something along the same lines. And that's pretty cool because I think wisdom and truth find all sorts of channels to get through to get where they're going, and it's just interesting to see certain energies if you step back and watch the patterns, how it's not even so much about the individuals, but there's energies that are going to move through one way or another. They're going to find somebody to get that idea to come out through. So I don't know about red pill culture. Sorry. I'm not a term of phrase guy. I'm not pop culture, because to me pop culture just, and no offense, like if you like, dude, again, my philosophy is if you like something, it's probably healthy for you. That's great. For me, pop culture it makes me feel like I'm being handcuffed and gagged and choking on my own puke or something. I'm like allergic to it. Okay, it's just the way I'm wired. I'm made to be looking for new paths all the time. That's just the part I play. It's not any better or worse than anybody else's. It just is what it is, So I don't know pop culture because I don't give any time to, knowing what that would even be. Too busy creating stuff, creating my own culture, I guess, even, you could say. Even if it's a culture of one, doesn't even matter to me. All right. Good question, though. Especially their take on women and relationships. Let me view some replies here, see if I can get a clue what we're talking about. Young men with plans to marry, save money, travel, do whatever you choose. Yeah, these are the basic questions of this society. When you're a young guy, is like, should I get married young, or should I do all kinds of stuff, get married later? And there's going to be a whole bunch of books written about you should do it this way, and then a bunch of other books written about you should do it this way. And the person writing that book was really feeling it, was really working for them. So I can't say that it's not true. It's just that for a different person, maybe a different strategy is also true. Maybe it's working just as well for them. So I don't have a lot of judgments or pointers on what, whether you should, get married young or get married old or whatever. I think at the end of the day, what people don't realize, and this is the kind of thing you'll hear from me, this is what insight I can actually give you on this subject. The truth is that your soul is going to have a lot more to do with whether you get married young or old or at all than you think. Okay, so when your little mortal ego plans a bunch of rules like, oh, when I marry so-and-so, they're going to look like this and they're going to act like this and I'm going to look like this and act like that. Listen, guys, that's that kindergarten sandbox stuff. Like, it has nothing to do with how you're actually creating your reality. And especially when it comes to relationships, of course, because that's complicated. It's not just you. It's, especially if it's a two-person union type relationship, it's like now you're on a scale, you're on a swirl, you're on a yin and yang, you're on a balance together. You're working for harmony. It's not always easy. Sometimes harmony flips a switch and turns into, explosive whatever, just like that, through you or through the other person, or most likely both at the same time. It's just energy moving. But I'm not going to tell you there's some easy, do it like this, like I did, and you'll just be cool like me. Guys, look, at the end of the day, I'm going to say it again. You're going to have to travel within and find more of the real you, and then you will understand that you're going to do a much better job of making those decisions for yourself than reading somebody else's philosophy about it. You can always read somebody's philosophy, and and it might be a good mental exercise to see some new things from somebody else's point of view. That's always good. But honestly, when it comes to your life path and karma and all that kind of stuff, in reality, I think the first overlooked should have been kindergarten secret of life that they hand people on a more advanced world than this would be, hey, you're creating your own reality, okay? Know this, child, okay? So, and your soul is more in charge than you are, so learn to get in touch with who you really are, and then you'll experience your reality from a completely different perspective where you're the one creating it, and it's amazing, okay? Really, all questions lead to that, and I hope I don't sound like some rambling old wizard if I start doing that with every question, because I can tell you right now, through the twisting of the nether, or the twisting of the old nethery wizard beard, all questions actually lead to kind of that same truth. And there's more than one truth, or wordings for things, but it's like streams, they lead back to the sea eventually, So I tend to want to go to the root or the source or the big power source of something and just heal it or fix it or love it or figure it out from there, and not try to fidget with all the outside details of everybody's opinion about every little tiny mundane we could we could decide to do daily or not in our lives, or every habit or blah 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 blah. It's a lot of information, it's a lot of left brain, that's fine, but has its limits. This is a great question. They're all great questions. Where was I? What's my favorite type of cardio to improve cardiovascular health? The kind that you like doing. Yes. If you want to improve your cardiovascular health, you need to get in touch with who you are to begin with, to even know how to care for your own heart. And yes, the metaphysical, figurative connection there is actually also going to help you with the physical healing. Okay? I have certain videos about that if you're interested that could maybe help you feel it. Find how to feel your heart. I know they helped me. Anyway, let me know. Yeah, because cardio is good. You're going to need to do that physical leg of the table. And so I'd say whatever you like doing, man. Do you like hiking? Do you like climbing? Do you like swimming? Do you like playing tennis? Do you like, I don't know, just playing air guitar like a maniac, and just rocking out or something? I don't like anything that's going to get your heart rate up that you're going to have fun doing, and so you'll actually make it a thing and do it. That's how you're going to succeed, okay? Because I'm going to tell you the metaphysical truth here. It applies to me, and anything I say, guys, I'm not coming from a place of above it, okay? I'm sharing with you. So when you're dealing with cardiovascular health issues, which most of the world is, it's tied to the fact that we came into a world with unconditional love in our heart chakra. Whether you believe in this or not, there is an actual etheric kind of astral energy center, okay? And it does have things to do with how your heart physically functions. They're tied together. This physical form is being held together by the energy and the intentions and the things coming from those other realms. That's what's magnifying this into being here, okay? So they're just as real and they're just as important. And learning to love yourself, it feels really good too, so, to say the least. And it makes you more powerful, it makes you more healing for other people. Trust me, all this religious arguing and even family arguing and everybody who means well on the whole planet trying to save each other and help each other and tell each other the right way, and all this fighting, it's because nobody actually understands how to heal their own heart chakra and love themselves, okay? When you do, it doesn't make you into a little kitty or anything. It doesn't make you weak. It makes you strong. It makes you healthy. It makes you in touch with the life force of the universe, okay? Like source energy, central, that can radiate out into all the other parts of your minds and different parts of the dimensions of you, okay? But get your source energy open again, all right? Let me know if you'd like me to link you any videos in particular or talk to you about that or anything. But this goes for anybody out there, because I know a lot of you right now know that you or somebody close to you is dealing with, cardiovascular, heart, circulatory related threats or whatever. They're on that path, okay? There is both spiritual, emotional, okay, I say both and that's technically the wrong term, but I'm not ignorant. I'm aware that that's the wrong term. There's spiritual, there's emotional, and there's physical healing for all that. We can do all of them here, okay? We can work together and do that. That can be done. For anybody out there right now with an open heart or an open mind, and you got somebody on your heart or your mind and you feel this does apply to, give them a chance, see if they're open to it. Let's work together on this, okay? From all angles. Because you're a multi-dimensional, holistic being. You're not any of the things you've been defined as in this world. So those treatments, very, very limited. And oftentimes even make things worse, okay? Alright. I love you. So I tell you guys this stuff, and you know that. Alright. Okay. How can oh, this is a good one. Yeah, I saw this question. How can souls exist if the self doesn't exist and it's commonly known to just be an illusion? Or is a soul something completely different than an ego and a self? Okay. How can souls exist if the self doesn't exist? Okay, your self does exist. Okay, let's start there. Nobody. You stay off the camera, you go play. I don't know how many belief systems are selling the idea right now that your self doesn't exist. Your self very much exists, and learning self-care, self-awareness, self-mastery are the keys that that unlock the point of your incarnation, okay? So whichever belief system that's coming from, I'm not telling you what to do, but I would cut it off and throw it away, okay? If that's what it's really teaching. So your self does exist on many levels, okay? And that's what this is about, and it's a great, brilliant, awesome question. This is really the kind of things life are about, because learning to perceive this better can actually help you get in touch with your soul better, okay? Alright, so here we are. Your soul. Okay, you asking this question, you the person with a social security number, or a height and a weight and an eye color and all these things the world used to identify you, right? And at this point you've been trained, you experience your reality through this body, so you identify with that too, okay? Now that self is the ego self, and it's not good or bad or anything, it just is what it is. It's very unaware of where it's coming from, what its source is, what is animating it, what is creating it, okay? And so it struggles a lot. It makes up a lot of stories, and we invent horrible ideas, and everybody's throwing rocks at each other, and this world is madness. But this world is also a place where you can go through tremendous soul growth, because because in this world everything's upside down and dark and confused, and there's hardly any truth at all ever. And so if you want to call it darkness metaphorically, you can choose to be some kind of a light in this world. As you become conscious and get in touch with your soul, you'll find out how creative you really are and your soul is, and what kind of light that's going to be. I would never try to tell you, because that's nonsense. Only you could know. But you could be an interesting color light nobody's ever seen, and be a light to that darkness, and that's an amazing experience for your soul to go through, okay? And if you will step into that role, okay, now you're on a different timeline, now you're on a different future, you're on a different path. Your soul's going to connect with you more in that role, okay, than it is the role of, oh, I'm just little old me and I can't change nothing in the world, and I'm just going to stay frustrated and believing I'm small and caught up in all these little things and dramas and low feelings, because that's where my beliefs are at about reality, okay, is that I have to struggle every day with all this stuff, okay? And I'm not judging that or saying it's wrong. I'm just expanding the picture so you realize it's actually not necessary, okay? There's a bunch of different vibrations you could be at living your life different ways right now. You could call it different timelines, you could call it different realities, and it really is. And in other versions of you right now, they are doing those other options, okay? So But I don't know if we need to get like, oh, let's just blow our minds here for hours. But okay, your soul, let's talk about that. Your soul is like this. If you heard the voice of your soul or saw the energy of your soul, you would be terrified and amazed, and it would be God to you, okay? Because it's something so big and vast and in depth and powerful. It's your father with many mansions, it's your mother with all the whatever you believe. Your soul is all that and a bag of, no, I'm not going to say that. Your soul is so much more. Your soul, here's something interesting. Your soul has, okay, you're like an avatar for your soul. And for you gamers who have ever played a mass media online role-playing game or whatever it's called, like World of Warcraft, you realize, okay, you're the creator of those little toons on there in that world, right? They have different names and different talents and whatever. But you're the creator of many of them. Well, guess what? Your soul's like that too, okay? And they're not all in the same world. Your soul is incarnated in all sorts of points in time and space and things that the human brain doesn't want to understand. Like, you literally have to get outside your body, and then you'll just flow with this stuff. You'll see yourself teaching it. It's the weirdest thing. And then you get back in this body, and you realize in this brain, it's very difficult to even talk about things like this. But anyway, we're doing our best here. Feel the energy of it. That's what you can do to help, get it for yourself. But yeah, your soul is so many things, and it's so much more than you realize. So the ego is all afraid that, oh, I'm going to die and not exist or whatever. It's not like that. When you leave a body behind, you reconnect to what you are. You become so much greater. Okay, so it's you exist. Okay, you very much exist. You'll always exist. You always have existed. The part of you that's asking that question right now is the part that has to be incarnated here as an ego and not know that. Like, we agreed to come through a kind of awareness veil so we could be here and have this experience and do this thing. We had to forget a lot about who and what we are. Now, there's kind of hacks and ways to get back in touch with it, and that's what I call being a Jedi, and it seems that that's a perfectly good thing to do. It seems that you expand and grow and get a lot of encouragement and help when you start doing things like that. So let me know. Let me know if that helps, and we can go from there. Really good question. Thank you. And I love you. Aww. How can you stay motivated when this was that really... Didn't I answer that by... I think I typed an answer, didn't I? Oh yeah. I think I've answered you on that one. Okay, hey man, I'm only 19. Last few months I've been working, studying a lot because I like to keep myself busy, plus I'm saving for a home gym. The problem is I'm not so happy as I used to be. I feel like something is wrong, needs a change, whether it's my long-term relationship with my girlfriend, my very demanding job, or my mindset in general. How do I connect with myself and find the answers that lay inside me? Well, you asked the right question, so you're already on the right path, okay? The answer to everything you wrote up to that point was to connect to yourself, okay? So you're... Man, couldn't ask for better questions, guys. See, we're all in touch here. This is all meant to be. There's more happening here than, random questions. But anyway, you don't want to spook anybody away just yet. If you get that tingly sensation. Well, you're being very ambitious and you're working very hard, and those are all very honorable and commendable things. There's a lot of people who could learn a lot from that, who are not working very hard at all towards their goals because they don't have any goals. And they have a victim mentality that's like their goal is to cry until what? Finally somebody magically makes it better. It's never going to happen, So A lot of commendable stuff there, you know. But just so you know, that's, if you're aware of yin and yang, that's all yang, okay? That's all do, 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 do. The other side of reality is be. And B is the much more enjoyable side. B is where you travel into other dimensions and find out that what you are. And in a society that lives all on the do, on the yang, they know zero about what they are. Okay? Other cultures and other times that were at least a little more balanced in yin and yang had a deeper spiritual awareness and were more in touch with more of the parts of what reality is. Everything's just, you know, cause and effect. You know, the culture you're living in is like, you know, cowboys and gunslingers and, you know, Terminators, like, just get it done, you know? And I get big into all that too, so I understand. But what's hurting inside you is the other side, the other half of what you are. It's getting no love. There's no self-love. There's no enjoyment. There's no childlike exploration of other realms of reality and what you really are. So your soul is in a sense doing what mine did to me in different ways, and it's kind of pushing you towards that point where either you're going to work yourself into a debilitated state where you have an accident or something because you're going so hard, or you snap one day and you don't know why and you get in big trouble. Some kind of thing in your life will come up to make you stop at some point if you don't find a way to incorporate what they call you time. And I don't like that term because it's so, like I said, I'm allergic to pop culturism, so I'm going to have to think of my own word for it now. But anyway, you know, check out my feline energy video. I have to recommend that again. It's a good place to start. Learning how to connect with your own heart, literally, like energetically, knowing how to do so, like with the right mindset and intention, and actually feel the change. It's like the good feeling of having love in your life versus the bad feeling of that vacuum crushing feeling of you just lost all the love in your life. You know what I mean? Like, that's how slowly over time, when you just work, your heart chakra is kind of just, it's becoming that starved, depraved, what's the point in life type feeling. That's what's living there, you know, that source needs to be opened back up. Like, it's the most important thing. So check out my feline energy video. It is about connecting with yourself. The other dimensions of you that are so amazing, there's no way you're ever going to be able to even begin to describe or understand how amazing, but you need to get a taste of that, and then you'll know what this other side of you is looking for, that it's feeling withered, that it's going without, okay? And look around the world, industrialized society, and see the metaphor, the archetype of zombies, of all these people walking around just making their money and doing their business, and they just look like they're dead. They're dead and withered, you know, because they're living only in a little bit of their mind, and everything else in them just had no reason to live, you know. Your joy, your heart, your love, your feelings, your openness, your childlike wonderment of life, okay, that gets lost. You need all that back, okay? You need to open up and find what's missing. Okay, so enough said. You already know this. I'm telling you what you already know, but it's a little higher up the level of your soul where you know it. So I'm just kind of reflecting back to you what your own soul is actually saying. Okay, if that makes sense. As far as, and it's always an offer. It's never like, okay, again, this, everybody in the world has been taught to have fear of everything. It's not like your soul's ever like, oh, you better do this or else. No, it's not like that. It's an opportunity. Everything's always an opportunity for something great. If you look around at most people, you realize they all had those, and most of them just didn't take them in their life. They didn't connect with their soul. They didn't realize any higher purpose for their incarnation, so they just kind of ended up putting in time, and, you know, he was a nice guy or whatever. And there's nothing wrong with that, but if a part of you's, you know, looking for more, then honor it. Honor it, because you're worth it. Everybody needs this planet's harshest lesson, hardest, and it's not even a lesson, it's a challenge, is to master the energy of keeping your heart open and having love for yourself and therefore everything else. And that's how it works. If you actually love yourself, you'll actually love everything else. If you actually don't love yourself, you actually won't love everything else. And it doesn't matter all the games we play in society and politeness and manners and everybody's insecurities and trying to be a decent person or whatever. I'm just talking about what's actually there, underneath that. So, the practice of loving yourself is, and that sounds, I realize people, hopefully people don't, do immature things with words here, but like finding a way to connect with your heart and open your heart chakra is the most valuable time that could be spent. I would say even more so than the pineal gland, because yes, your pineal gland can answer you with the adventures of time and space and other intelligence and all kinds of stuff. It's like the never-ending story of let's not get started, but your heart, again, is where you're going to feel joy. If this doesn't work, all the things we do, all the galaxies, even if Earth isn't enough and people just burn that up competing and then build this and that, go into space and do it here and there, like various other beings have done. If your heart's not open, still none of that's going to be enough. You're still going to feel the way you do now, So, and that's not a judgment, that's me saying love yourself. Open up and love yourself. The universe has an endless supply of love. This is like this hidden thing, and it's stupid. There's an endless supply of it, for you, for me, for everybody. Everybody believes there's not for some damn reason, and that's why you don't see it. It's there. Open your heart and you let it in, okay? It's our beliefs and fears that clamp shut. That's how it works, okay? So that's just learning to work with your main life, probably the most important chakra, if there is such a thing as most important, okay? So I love you, but most importantly, you're gonna have to, okay? And it's the best thing ever. I resisted it to death over and over, okay? In many different forms. But finally I've stepped up and opened my heart to actually understand what love is and have it and be it and mix that in with all the other wild elements of what I am. And yeah, now I can honestly say it's the most important component, like so many wise beings have said before, okay? But it's all words until you find out about the actual energy, the actual doing of it. Not talking and thinking and theorizing and pretending. I mean, actually learn to work and open your own energy fields and stuff. That's priceless, okay? And you will, with the intention. You can follow in so-and-so's practice or somebody else's practice or even make up your own. You'll get there, okay, with your intention to do it. But like I'd say, for Open the Heart Chakra, I had a lot of help and guidance on that feline energy video. It's really good for that. Certain people, if they're open to it, they actually feel it come through the video and change them in their heart. And it's not me changing you, okay? It's an energy. I'm passing it on, all right? I'm just being a conduit because I want you to have that too. I want everybody in this world to have it, but like my grandfather used to say, want in one hand and shit in the other, right? See which one gets full first. But yeah, more than want, I'm doing, I'm being, embodying, and I know that you guys are too. Everybody's got an important part to play, and that's why any kind of judgment about what somebody else is doing with their time or who they're doing it with or how they look or what they listen to or what, all these petty, weird societal nonsense distractions of a chicken coop that's been taught to peck at each other, it's embarrassing. Adults shouldn't even have to justify themselves on any of that. What are we even talking about? There's big things to be talking about. Let's expand our consciousness. Let's not waste our incarnation, squabbling over the scratch on the floor or whatever it is that society's become. And I'm not pointing fingers, blaming anybody. It doesn't do any good. Victims do that, and they stay victims life after life. Changers are people that just go, well, yeah, we're the ones wielding the energy. Starts with me. Love myself, most important thing. Open my third eye, understand everything. Ta-da! Let's start working with all this, even though I'm just a crazy little you know, earthling with such a limited brain and, you know, whatever I'm working with here. But it's upgrading. It's doing its best to catch up, so you can too. And the force is with you, my friend. And I love you, and that's an awesome question. Can you please make a massive video on how to get 21-inch arms? Yeah, it would have to be massive, wouldn't it? And I did. It's called Lee Priest size arms, okay? Lee Priest sized arms. And I measure my arm. No, you're asking how to get 21-inch arms? How to get 21-inch arms, okay. Feeders after a workout 7 days a week or something else? Well, feeders definitely help, but now that I'm using occlusion training, I'm doing that instead of feeders. It's better. I wouldn't really call it feeders, but each day I pump up my arms with the occlusion bands on, you know, and just pump that blood into there, squeeze that blood in there, hold it for a while. And I think that's better for growth. I think it's a very special way to train. It's very, very cool technology. And once you kind of get a manual hang for it, you've done it several times, and you kind of know your own body and how tight to put things where and everything, it gets kind of more smooth to do it. And very effective way of training, very interesting. I mean, I'm not going to say I'm pioneering it. There's no doubt some other people building some muscle with it, but not many, you know. And so, in my own sense, I'm going to just kind of pioneer forward. I just put up a video about my legs growing in 1 week from occlusion training, showing a change. I see it, others are commenting, they see it, so it works, you know. So same for arms. It's going to force blood in there. Now don't overdo it, don't try to like injure yourself. I'm talking about taking the place of a daily feeder. So it's not about an intense occlusion trained arm training session every day, no way. I'm talking about just using the occlusion bands to get your arms pumped well, okay? And then just walk around and let them be pumped for a while. Stretch them while they're pumped, and then after a while take the bands off and let it go. I mean, think about that. You built up anabolic factors, you stretched everything open, you forced a bunch of blood in there, and you didn't strain anything, you didn't overtrain anything. It's you know, it's a very special way to get extra gains for sure. You know, and in future times, I think if people continue to progress on the seeming timeline they're on now, there would be a time when in the fitness, like bodybuilding industry, they'll look back and think it was crazy that more people weren't using occlusion for at least this and that, you know. So I don't know. I think if society's smart, they're gonna figure it out. But I'm gonna keep showing what it does on me, and hopefully that does the trick for some of you, and we'll see from there. Only takes some of us, you know, with the vision to really change everything. You can start a whole thing just by, you know, thinking thinking some thoughts that people around you haven't been bothering to think. All right. Okay, good question. Thank you. How do you make wrestling coexist with lifting? Carefully, you know. I mean, I make things like that coexist with raw vitality, a lot of health. Okay, that's the only way I can do it. Because there's no magic way to fake my way through the lifting part, and there's no magic way to fake my way through the wrestling part. So, you know what I mean? I have to actually have the physical energy as well as the recovery. So macros, micros, sleep, mindset, beliefs, state of well-being, lifestyle, you know. It's all that to be healthy enough, okay, mind, body, and spirit, to support that much activity. Now, for some people, maybe they're just, you know, they're genetically gifted and they find things like that easier, and, you know, they got tons and tons of energy. You know, and those people are rare, few and far between. And for me, like, my energy now is much more abundant than it was when I was, you know, growing up. Then again, being born with Hirschsprung's disease, you know, and every other factor in my life that's been the way it is and who and how it's formed and what I am. I've changed a lot. I just keep changing. I realize that change, here's some wisdom, here's some Jedi wisdom about the universe for anybody that wants to actually work with how things work instead of just letting it slap you around all the time. Change is going to happen anyway. Even a stone is moving, the particles. Everything's changing. When you think things are fixed, it's an illusion, okay? Everything's changing. So, if you're changing, and if you're changing over your cells all the time, and 7 years from now you're going to have all these cells replaced, theoretically, or something, why wouldn't a person start rebuilding all those cells systematically in a very intelligent, powerful, highly vital way to come up with a whole new body in 7 years from the one they had, that they weren't so content with, right? So that's how I think, and because I think like that, and I don't have the laws of herdism to immediately say, oh yeah, that's just unrealistic. Fuck it. I've done all kinds of unrealistic things because I don't care. Like, it's only good if it's unrealistic. To me, like, that's just my spirit. So, so those are my thoughts on that. It takes a lot of health and vitality. And that's a spiritual thing, it's an emotional thing, it's a mental thing, it's a physical thing. So this is why most people are just going to resort to drugs, because they hear all that and they go, yeah, right, in this world trying to balance spiritual things and emotional things and mental things and physical things, I understand. And I am by no means balanced. I'm simply operating at a much higher level of consciousness and vitality and much closer to balance than who I used to be. And that gives me a lot to work with, okay? And it can you too. This is about expanding not just your mind's just one term, but expanding yourself on many levels, okay? Energetically. Consciousness, energy, they're the same. Energetically, consciously, the force. Expanding the force within you. Expanding outward to reach and connect into the force more, but also expanding inward to connect and find that there's already an unlimited supply in both places. Wow. How we must be resistant in blocking off the flow of life if there's an infinite supply coming at us from the outside and the inside, and somehow we manage to put a lot of calcifying, ugly beliefs in the way of that flow of light, don't we? Just put some slabs of calcium in there and block that light. Okay. Crumble that shit, right? Alright. I love you guys. Great question. Okay. Thoughts on drinking alcohol on a regular basis. We'll soon be playing university rugby, and this is a big part of the culture and also something I enjoy doing. Cheers. Well, I'd say if you're headed that way, you're probably going to be playing rugby and drinking. So looking at what's real with zero judgment, by the way, sounds kind of fun, honestly. May the force be with you, and may it be good adventures, and may you come out of it all intact and a better man on the other side. So, but going into it, yeah, there's some things you could do to up your game physically. Everything on my detoxification video would really help you, even though it's all taboo, and maybe you couldn't pull it all off at college. But just have a look. And definitely everything on the nutritional video, okay? As well as everything on my health playlist that I'm going to keep adding to. Those first two videos are kind of basic things for people to get started with, and then I'm adding elements. I'm adding elements for those of you that are ready, to keep absorbing and adding, and integrating, and expanding this picture of health, which is awesome. It's the place to start because everybody's so unhealthy in this world. That's one of the ways everybody's mind's being controlled, is because when your body is a clogged up disaster, your glands are too. You don't have any higher perception. You don't have any connection to anything. Your real self, your source, your God, your ancestors, your guides, the energy around you, the elemental energy. You don't have any connection to anything. That's so instead of saying, oh, somebody's enslaved us and they're just be smarter than the equipment that's destroying you, okay? Clean yourself out, build yourself full of vitality, make your glands work, see through it all with your third eye, Heal yourself and others with your heart by learning to love yourself despite the fact that everybody in the world thinks you're not supposed to, no matter what they say. So yeah, hopefully I've expandapolated upon that enough now. Yeah. Expandapolated. There's gonna be t-shirts at some point. Alright. So yeah, man. May the force be with you. Up your vitality, up your detox, up your nutrition, and then you have more vitality to make up more for the amount of alcohol and workouts, you know, that you're hitting yourself with. It's balancing of more energies, and that'll help you. I'm not saying that if you drink 18 bottles of wine, you're going to be fine the next day. I'm just saying your overall vitality and success in doing and mixing all those things at the same time, which I understand is, you know, that where you're going, that's just how it is. Like, go for it, but have the extra vitality and strength, right? You know, having some knowledge to arm yourself with, and then having some extra physical vitality should make it a much better experience overall. Better outcomes for all of it. Okay. And be careful, you know. It's real easy when you're super, super blacked out, drunk, and with a bunch of, well, characters to not worry about your life, you know, your physical life very much, or the consequences of anything the next day. And it's just way too easy to do. But, you know, zero judgment. I'm just, as a friend, I say that, right? Yes, as a friend, I say that. All right. How would you incorporate gymnastic training, exercise on rings in a bar, and boxing? Okay. For cardio in your workouts. Well, any way you want to. I'm such a smartass, right? I should just leave it like that and be all nose in the air. Like, my channel's so cool. I just answer people like, pfft. No. Any number of ways, I guess. I mean, if you want to know my unusual mind, the completely abnormal alignments of clusters of thoughts that all form with it, I'll tell you what comes to mind, I guess. If I was putting all that together, when it came to gymnastics, like on the rings, that Iron Man, Iron Cross thing, like I did that the first time I tried it, and I was the only, well, anyway, let's not start with that nonsense. That's like a good lat exercise, it seems like, you know. So I might pick certain ring activities that I need to get good at for the gymnastic stuff and train really hard with them and see which muscles get sore, and then correlate that with, okay, so now that's my bicep workout for now, or whatever it is, you know, shoulders or lats or whatever it tore up. You know, that way you're going for it because you're training both things at the same time, right? So you're going to put more, even more, into that training session. That's just what my mind starts to do with it, you know. You can take that and be creative with it and weave it together in a number of ways, okay? And within you is a better answer than even the one I can give you, okay? Opinions on probiotics, and by the way, thank you and I love you. I hope I remember to say that to everybody, but it goes for everybody, okay? I love you. May the force be with you. Seriously, I mean it. I care about you all. I really do. I really do. In my own unusual way, whatever that is. I really do. Alright, opinions on probiotics. Best stomach healing foods. Okay. This is really important because so many people struggle and suffering with stuff like this. I've gone through stages where I was really dealing with trouble. Almost everybody's dealing with digestive trouble because of the crazy way, the crazy foods really that society's made of these days. But that's just one factor. Probiotics. Okay. If you get a truly good quality, and there's a lot of issues with getting the best ones. A lot of people end up wasting a lot of money on a lot of probiotics that just don't really work well. But if you do your research and find the very best ones that are, you know, researched, people's experience with them, they got a lot to back them up, I very much encourage it. In fact, on my immune system video, I told people anytime you take antibiotics, immediately do a strain of probiotics, the highest quality. You should have them on hand for that. Otherwise, most of your immune system's missing and your body's going to be taken over by yeast now and a whole bunch of other things. Go check out the immune system video if you haven't. But yeah, if you truly get good probiotics, it's very important, and it's very life-changing, and it's a very good thing to do. Best stomach healing foods. Wow, there's so many ideas out there about this. Now me, I seem to have some improvement with glutamine. I think people who train very, very hard, tear up a lot of muscle, eat a lot, you know, all the things that our lives are composed of sometimes. I think you should try glutamine. It might help in your stomach. And it's a generally healthy, useful supplement to take anyway. I might start experimenting with it during intermittent fasting. So I think there's a question on here about intermittent fasting, so I'm going to wait till then to talk about that. But yeah, glutamine's one. Now, everything's important. You need those probiotics, definitely. But you probably, like everybody on this planet, you need a severe detox. I mean, God only knows. You don't even know. A lot of people are very, very surprised if all things start coming out of them